I came across this Threads post, and I think that this is an important conversation to have. This is a Black nurse. This woman, Bree, is a Black nurse, and she had a situation, and let's talk about this situation. She says, last night during shift change, it was brought to my attention that there was a narcotic discrepancy. Upon review, my initials were forged for a PRN narcotic given way too soon. I don't speak nurse acronyms, but PRN stands for pro Renata, which means as needed. Okay, let's get back to the story. All right, so PRN narcotics, some as needed narcotics, it was given way too soon. The at fault nurse wanted me to sign off on it as a waste and told me, next time be careful and watch what I'm doing. The nurse is now trying to manipulate me into believing that I really caused this medical error. I denied signing anything, notified the DON or the director of nursing. Yes, I had to look that up as well. I notified the DON and followed up today as I was scheduled to work again. With an uneasy spirit, I arrived at work and something, the Holy Spirit, was just telling me to check the entire narcotic book for any other issues, just in case. I couldn't believe it. I found my signature forged again for a narcotic for a different resident. I was so hurt and in disbelief. Like, why would this woman do this to me? But more importantly, herself. Notified the unit manager and the investigation began. I completed an incident report, did a urine drug test, and waited. The nurse returned to work today, and ironically was my relief to go home. She breezed in confidently and went straight into the unit manager's office. Almost an hour has gone by and I'm ready to go home. She came out a bit flustered and was quite agitated when I was given her report. There was a new admission that had just arrived and she barely wanted me to give her any information on the patient, but I continued regardless of how she felt. We finished and I continued to complete my charting. More time went by and I could hear her speaking to another nurse, stressing about the entire situation. I stayed quiet because it wasn't my place to go back and forth with her when I knew for a fact she deliberately lied on me. As I was finishing up a call with the provider, I can see her packing up her things as if she just finished the shift. I threw my hands up to a nearby coworker whispering, "What happened?" She mouthed the words, "She got fired." I honestly don't know how to feel because in today's economy, even as a nurse, it is hard finding and keeping a job. I don't know this woman from a can of paint, nor do I know her situation, but I could not stand for being lied on and not advocating for myself. But in this very moment today, this does not feel well. I feel so bad, and it feels like doing the right thing wasn't a good thing at all. I wanted to talk about this because this very last paragraph, this woman was being lied on and it was regarding narcotics, and this is a Black woman. I don't know the race of the other person, but let's be real in today's society, in today's climate. Racism and sexism are quite prevalent. She's feeling bad that she knew she was being lied on and she took it to the Department of Nursing or the Director of Nursing and was like, look, this is not me, because that is the type of thing that could have gotten Bree fired. But I need us, and the reason why I keep stressing this, I need us to have a sense of self-preservation. That woman who forged the Bree signature and her initials didn't give a good goddamn about her reputation or the fact that she could have gotten fired. But here she is, like, feeling a sense of sadness. And no, absolutely not. Being lied on and having your finances put in jeopardy, your reputation put in jeopardy because of this woman, it's not right. And you need to, I don't know what to say. I know it's hard for us to turn off the empathy, but that woman didn't give a damn. Please just have more sense of self-preservation for yourself versus those people, because she needed to have a sense of self-preservation, but instead she chose to do this maybe to get a fix herself. I don't know. Expat Natural says, nope, she was going to throw your whole career under the bus. She picked you to come for and then tried to play in your face with the gaslighting, and picked her probably because she's a Black woman and Black women are unprotected. Let's be real. She says, don't throw your badass crown on the ground. You did the Lord's work with that one, because who knows who else she forged names on on drugs in the system. This auntie applaud you for standing up correct. I applaud her too. Jennifer says, you did what you had to do to keep your own job in integrity as a nurse. Missing narcotics is a big deal. Mari says, I'm not a nurse, but a nurse on my floor was pilfering narcotics from a drug cart. She was caught, luckily. Turns out she did this at other hospitals, and all they did was suspend her or fire her. Nurses like that are dangerous to patients and to staff, especially if they're using on the floor. Goddess Finesse says, feeling bad when she literally put your name down such that the discrepancy would fall on you instead is insane. She did not care about your livelihood or the economy or your freedom for that matter. Barbara says, to me, as a retired nurse, this shows how we treat people with the drug problem. Yes, she needs the consequences, but she also needs help. Addiction is a real problem. Firing her doesn't help. Some compassion on the part of her managers would have been nice to see. We don't get that as nurses. I don't know. It just upsets me to see people with addiction issues get treated that way. Mitch Pup Lover says, I gotta call BS. My son's addiction killed him. That is what will happen to the nurse who got fired unless this is the wake-up call she needed. It is a miracle that no patient was harmed. This is a good point from Barb. She says, you may have saved a patient from unnecessary agony and being labeled as a pain medication seeker. If she's willing to forge your name and steal drugs, she's just as likely to divert them from her patients. Those rules are in place for good reasons. And like I said, that is a good point. This woman at the bottom says, asking Nurse Rowe to come look at this. Let's see what Nurse Rowe has to say. Nurse Rowe says, she did the right thing. Why the F are you forging my signature and you think it is okay? People don't realize a lot of nurses have substance abuse issues. I didn't know that. Whether that's pills, alcohol, IV meds, coke, the list goes on. I learned that during psych MP school. No clue. I had no idea. Heart of Alliance says, that's like when I was on a contract at Grady Neuro ICU and they found out a nurse was drunk and drinking at work. Chick had alcohol in her coffee cup and was stumbling around, shaking my head. Jeannie says, here's the thing. She not only lied, she forged your signature and initials. You could have been fired for what she did had you not advocated for yourself. A nurse's behavior and morals should not be questionable. She wasn't a team player. That's not good for you all or the patients. And this person says forging is a felony. And then Deastwood says she was setting you up, so do not feel bad for protecting yourself and your job. She got herself fired, not you. So, like I said in the beginning, so sometimes I don't understand all of these letters and everything, but that's not the point. The point is learn to protect yourself and advocate for yourself. A lot of times, especially as non-white women, we get labeled angry, bitter, argumentative, and all of that. And so people know and understand that we could be the perfect fall guys or gals. We could be the perfect patsies because people don't advocate for us anyway. So you have got to advocate for yourself. I thought that this was an important post to do because it speaks to boundaries. It speaks to being assertive. It speaks to having that sense of self-preservation that we have been talking about. So join the conversation. Make sure you teach this to your daughters so that they have a voice and are great with using their voice to advocate for themselves. I think this needs a trigger warning. Not safe for work is talking about a fetish. So let's just put that out there. I was reading through this whole post and I was thoroughly confused because this is not in my wheelhouse. This is not. But I'm going to read this with y'all and we're going to talk about this together as a community. She posted this in the True Off My Chest subreddit. She says, husband's fetish disgusts me, but I don't want to leave. So she's 37, he's 39. She says, my husband has a diaper fetish, just coming out the gate, just strong. My husband has a diaper fetish. What is that? She says, I really am not familiar with the terminology. I don't think it's an ABDL thing, What the heck is ABDL? Okay, let's go to the Google before we go any further. I asked the Google, what is ABDL? And then I get these diapers. Okay, so this is giving us some information, ABDL. I look up the letters. AB is adult baby, and I think DL is diaper lovers. ABDL, adult baby diaper lovers. So that is what she says. Okay, let's get back to the story. All right, so she says, I don't think it's an ABDL thing. She says, for context, we've been together for 18 years, have no children, and purchased our first home together in November 2024. We previously rented and had been together for 4 years before moving in together, so pretty much knew everything about each other's habits and what to expect. The house we were renting fell under foreclosure, and it was extremely stressful for me. He expects, and I prefer or don't mind, for me to handle the big things. Landlord tried to illegally evict. Began July 2024. He tried to illegally evict us, and it was just an effing pain in the badooski to be constantly stressed until we were able to finally purchase our house. I was aware of, we'll call it, thing, as I did find some diapers under the bed at the old house a few times and a receipt for them in his glove box while looking for the Easy Pass. But the incidents were so few and far between, I didn't really pay it any mind. However, I admit that my housekeeping and cleaning suffered toward the end before moving, and I guess I wasn't really paying attention or looking for or expecting anything like diapers, whatever. Fast forward to the new house. It's a week after Thanksgiving. We both work full-time retail jobs, so not a lot of time off there. We were living out of storage tubs and boxes for a while, waiting for new furniture. I noticed, y'all, please brace yourself. I should have added a trigger warning. If you're drinking anything right now, please stop drinking, stop eating right now. Right now, immediately. Okay, let's get back to the story. We were living out of storage tubs and boxes for a while waiting for new furniture. I noticed some liquid around my husband's clothes bin, and to my horror, I opened the bin and there is a piss-filled diaper leaking out of a crack in the bottom of the bin. I was so disgusted, embarrassed, speechless. Before we moved, I had asked him if he needed to continue with this thing in our new home, could he please be more discreet? I.e. dispose of used things and either throw out the garbage or cover it really effing well so I couldn't see anything. I waited a week to confront him about the mess. How? How can you wait a week? There's pee all over everything. And he effing snapped. He told me that he has been doing this since he was a boy and he likes it, and that if I didn't like it, there's the door. I was stunned, not the first conversation about this. He does not wear them, at least not to my knowledge, hence I say not an ABDL thing, but I wouldn't know. He says he likes the feel of jerking off into them and using baby powder because it's more comfortable than using lotion or lube. Fine. I have dildos, so he compares his things to my dildos, and I'm sorry, I don't agree. I've even caught him using one of my toys by himself, so riddle me that. This whole story is just blowing my mind, y'all. I have even worn some diapers for him, but clearly neither of us were into it together, and that's fine. If that's what he wants to do in his alone time, that's his choice. It affects me when after we're done watching TV for the night and are about ready for bed, he tells me to go to bed but stays in the den. He stashes things in the center console of his truck, in his recliner, and in our shared closet. In the closet, they're just thrown there. I find the yellow closure tabs all over the house, stuck to furniture, carpets. Last week, the toilet wasn't flushing properly. I removed the tank lid to find an effing diaper, like what the F. I know he doesn't cheat on me. I don't cheat on him, but this diaper thing is getting ridiculous. It is affecting my mental health, my sleep, my sanity, our relationship. I sleep on the couch almost every night. I am disgusted when he wants sex after I know he just used a diaper. He has been giving me grief lately for sleeping on the couch. We went on vacation the last week of August. I booked a queen-size bed, but the hotel made a mistake. He doesn't believe me. But sleeping in my own bed felt so effing good. P.S. I am now a huge advocate for sleep divorces. Anyway, he is entitled to his alone time. I am not denying him that. Just wish he would have more discretion and respect. We are both so effing stubborn, independently wealthy, no joint accounts, and the house is solely in my name, so splitting up would be no problem. The problem is that I still want him. Yes, yes, I see that as a problem as well. She says, I welcome comments and advice, but please be nice. Don't leave any mean comments. I do not know what I'm expecting by posting this, but it is easier to vent anonymously. I could go on, but my fingers are tired. Stay well, be kind. Much love, Kitty. When I got tagged into this from Double Oxer, this is not how I expected to wake up and use my Saturday. And this is why y'all have been roped into this with me, because we learning some stuff together. But Double Oxer says, I know this post is about his diapers, but how is he telling you there's a door in a house he doesn't own? Right, when he said there's the door. Like, dude, you gonna have to step out of it. Like, yeah, you see the door, you should go ahead. And then she tagged me. She's like, I don't know. This one's for you, I guess. Thank you, Double Oxer. We all get to have this because you tagged me in this. And I was just like, I'm at a loss for words, and I don't 100% understand what he's doing with the diapers. Like, I don't know. Okay, so I was scrolling through the comments, and everybody else was just as confused as I am. So this person says he doesn't wear them. Allow me to doubt that, LOL. And then this person says, OP found a piss-soaked diaper, but he's not wearing them. So does he just piss on them? I'm confused. Hip Dancer says, exactly my confusion. Actually, no. I don't buy the he doesn't wear them, only jerks off in them. Math ain't mathin'. H Bug says, if he just likes dirty diapers, I would be extremely concerned. Coffee Chocolate Both says, LOL, I'd be extremely concerned a grown man wants to wear a diaper, not needs to, but wants to. And then at the bottom, Shane says, I think she means he doesn't wear them for an extended period of time, maybe? I don't know. Cup Half Empty says, so he much rather get a divorce than to clean up his biohazard. Girl. And maybe he does need to live in his own space, because I just cannot, like, seeing pee all over the place, and then you can hold up. She waited a week to talk to him about the pee. I can't get over that. But then he gets mad at her. Like, dude, just clean up your pee. Like, what is this? Why is this a discussion? And don't flush diapers down the toilet. Just clean up your pee and throw out your diapers. Like, my brain, y'all, my brain. And then this person says that alone would make me file for divorce. You know you're crazy says, seriously, he keeps them in the console of his truck. What the actual F? Yeah, okay. More info that we did not know we needed to know and still probably don't need to know. But paraphilic infantilism, also known as adult baby or AB for short, is a form of age play that involves role playing, a regression into an infant-like state. Like other forms of adult play, depending on the context and desires of the people involved, paraphilic infantilism may be expressed as a non-sexual fetish, kink, or simply as a comforting platonic activity. People who practice adult baby play are often colloquially referred to by themselves and others as adult babies or AB. I'm not reading all of this. I just wanted to get to the DL or the diaper lovers. So people with a diaper fetish are often informally called diaper lovers or DLs. In practice, however, these strict labels do not always reflect the true diversity of expression. There you go. You're welcome. You learned something new today. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. I don't know what to think, y'all. Sorry. Blame the person that tagged me. A vessel of sorrow, aka a peen. That's what Brooke from Let's Not Date calls a peen, a vessel of sorrow. Okay, now we are bought in. I appreciate my homegirl Arcadia for sending me this from Brooke from Let's Not Date. She says, why must this man doom the world eternally with his ruinous appendage? Let's look at these screenshots. Brooke had a story up, and this man named Don, you can see his name right there, responded with this emoji. Okay, appropriate. But then he also responded with his vessel of sorrow, aka his peen. And then he asked her, do you like it? She says, not at all. Your peen is a mirror of sorrow, and in its reflection, I feel not only my despair, but the despair of countless women before me. He's like, why? She says, I don't know. It's like your peen holds the echo of every grief that has ever darkened the world. He's like, geez, LOL, usually girls do. She says, actually, in your peen, I see the scars of generations of women. When we close our eyes, we beg the darkness to keep us so that we will not have to open them again to see its withered form. He says, maybe if you saw it in person. She says, doubtful. The longer I look, the more the despair grows. She says, because of your peen, I am no longer myself, but a vessel of mourning. He's like, really? Yeah. I was hoping you would say something more hot. I cannot possibly. Once the thought of grief takes hold, it will not release me. To look at your peen is to become undone, to watch the scaffolding of self collapse until I am nothing but sorrow, shaped briefly as a body. Never actually had someone say that to me before about my D. She says, the view of your peen steals the color from the hours. Surely many women have said that to you before. So he started this journey Monday afternoon at 2:47 p.m. Fast forward to Wednesday, 9:51 p.m. He says, hey. She says, hey there, keeper of the morning appendage. Mourning as in sorrow, if you're not looking at the screen. Hey there, keeper of the morning appendage. Do you like the nickname I came up with for you? He says, nope. She says, geez, usually men like nicknames. What about the man of 1,000 sorrows in one organ? He says, why did my D make you so sad? You said looking at it did. She says, well, you see, bearer of the desolate organ, to look at your peen is to feel the unbearable accumulation of endings. Yeah, and why? Great question. Count genital grief. I guess it's just that the shape of your peen leaves behind only a hollow vacancy that weighs on the soul. He says, is it too small? It's not so much the size, Sir Weeping Phallus. It is only that your peen hums with melancholy, its aura steeped in desolation. He's like, I don't get it. Why? She says, we cannot always see our own flaws. Have other women truly not confessed to you that your peen suspends them in darkness without end? And scene. That is the end of her text messages. But oh my God, that was so challenging to get through because I wanted to crack up. The fact that she calls it so many names is hilarious. Bearer of the desolate organ, count genital grief. That one almost had me undone completely. Sir Weeping Phallus. Now, for you all, I think that we should collect some of these and use them in countless ways. There are so many ways that we should be able to describe men, and this just gives us some things to brainstorm with. This is a starting point, and I love that for us. Even though Arcadia sent me these to my inbox over on Instagram, I went over to her Facebook page to look at the comments, and they did not disappoint. Please grab a pencil and paper because she's calling these things some more names that we need to take note of. Brooke says, is it bad that I get a little giddy when men send me their grief shafts? Write that down, grief shafts, unsolicited, because I know I now get to mess with their brains. Jonathan says, your response was sublime. And it says, so beautiful, should have sent a poet. She is a poet. Dan says, liking when men send D pics, but not for the reason they expect. Teldecia says, no, because they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Stop sending unsolicited D pics. Women do not like this. And if you don't like it, ladies, she has given you all kinds of ways to respond to getting these D pics. And I do believe that you should start posting them in screenshots somewhere. You can cover it up and let us see your responses and how they respond to you. George says, bad. Is that the new spelling for hilarious? And then Melissa at the bottom is laughing at grief shaft. And yes, that is hilarious. Brooke with another comment saying, it took a lot out of me to wait to post this until today so that I could screenshot the timestamp that showed the day was Wednesday instead of just the time, because it is always best you can see how much time it takes them to contemplate what I've said. Sierra says, true dedication to the craft. My hat goes off to you, and the rest of my clothes stay on. Yes, that is how we're doing it. We're keeping our clothes on. 'Cause you don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time. Oh no. That was, I don't know where that came from. I have no idea. I love this for all of us. Brooke says, by the way, I get in moods where I just write these out and await a situation to use them. So in this case, I had a list of eggplant themed sorrows in my notes of things to say if men send me their weep wands. So we have weep wands right here. So please write that down. At the bottom, she says, weep wand has me weak. That's definitely my fave so far. Simple, but powerful. What has been your favorite so far? Please let us know in the comments. This is my homie Michael. He says, I'm betting he doesn't realize that the lack of consent is why the little guy is a weeping mess of melancholy. Jesse says, this is already hilarious, and I don't know if you know this, but you can change people's names in the chat, and they can see if you changed it. It would have been so funny if you changed his name to Sir Weeping Phallus. She says, oh, shoot, I've done that before, too. I had no idea, y'all. So now you have all kinds of things to take and use at your disposal. Please take and share. Please let me know which ones were your favorites so far and write it down and use it. And then we can put these somewhere. We can discuss where to put these, maybe over on my threads, because you can post things, or maybe dropping them in my inbox over on Instagram. I'm Bourbon Bougie everywhere.
If y'all truly believe that was anywhere near what you consider celebrating, y'all ain't seen shit yet. Wait until that day comes. You ain't seen this. Bitch, I'm renting an entire team of fucking gay flamenco dancers. Flamenco, what is it? Whatever it is, I'm getting them. I'm gonna rent about 1,000 motherfucking mariachi bands and just have a... I'ma just have their asses playing all up and down your streets. Anybody know where you can buy used parade floats? Because I'm gonna need one.
I don't know when it's going to hit the news of what happened today, but the blowback from this whole ABC News canceling Jimmy Kimmel Live is historic. Not only are people canceling their Hulu app, their Disney Plus apps, their ABC apps, people are boycotting Marvel, studios, Marvel Comics, movies, and any Disney movie. People are protesting outside of Disney in Burbank today. People are canceling Disney cruises, and people are canceling trips to the Disney parks, Disney World and Disneyland here in California. So screw Disney, screw ABC. You were concerned about the FCC and Donald Trump having power over you. And remember, you make your money off the people, not off the... So that was your mistake, getting scared by the FCC. You should be scared by the people who put food on your table. And that's us. And you're canceled.